And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, Director of WEIU Radio, and I'm very honored today to have Dr. David Glassman, the new EIU President, in studio. So welcome, Dr. Glassman.
Thank you, Jeff. It's great to be here.
All right. I know you've hit the ground running, as they say, since you've been here 2 months ago. Just talk about maybe the first 2 months, and we'll get into some of the details.
Well, it's been a very, very busy 2 months. I can tell you that for sure. I've been meeting with a lot of the constituent groups to EUI and a lot of the leadership on campus. Been meeting with our alumni base. I've also met with our foundation board, and just starting to meet with some of our students, and it's all been go, go, go.
There you go. I know when you were named the president back in March, you said enrollment management was one of your top priorities. Talk about where we stand as we head into this fall semester.
Enrollment management really is critical for all universities today, particularly as state appropriations become less and less each year. What we've experienced over the last few years is a decline in which we're not alone. We see this throughout the Midwest, we see it throughout the country, and the reasons behind it are many, but the number one reason is just demographics. There are fewer students graduating high school now than there have been in the past, particularly in the Midwest and in Illinois, and so we have to get out there and be competitive and show what EIU has to offer these students.
But there was some good news in the enrollment, because I think the freshmen were up a little bit as we headed into the fall, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It appears that our freshman class, or incoming class, is going to be right at about the same size that it was last year. And this is good news, because if we can sustain our enrollment, then we can start working on other initiatives in order to turn that tide and increase enrollment into the future.
There you go. When you talk to EIU employees, how can we all help the cause in recruitment to EIU?
Yeah. One thing we know today is that enrollment is the job not just of the admissions office, but it's the job of everybody in the university, the entire community. And we can all play a part in helping to recruit students to our campus. It can be from talking about EIU to our friends and relatives, to just how we treat visitors when they're on the campus. From the groundskeepers to the faculty to everybody involved on campus, to show just how friendly, how welcoming, how inclusive EIU is, and of course the academic excellence that we provide to students is second to none. We are here for student success, and we need to share that.
There you go. Obviously, the state of Illinois now enters its second month without a budget. Talk about how that really affects you and the folks at Old Main and what you do on a daily basis without a budget.
One of the most difficult aspects of not knowing what our appropriations are going to be is in the area of planning. We're trying to figure out exactly what we need to do in order to meet our students with academic excellence for their success. But when we don't know exactly how many dollars are going to be coming to the institution, it makes us cautious in some regards, as well as deters doing long-term planning. And so we hope that the legislature and the governor can come together and understand the importance of higher education. We are an incredible investment to the state of Illinois. What we do in higher education is turn out the leaders, the entrepreneurs, ethical citizens for the future of the state and beyond. And we just need to have our legislators and the governor understand what an investment this is.
Is it possible to balance Eastern's budget without knowing what the appropriations are going to be on a daily basis?
You can't know exactly what the mark is in order to balance the budget until we do know what our appropriations are. And so to answer your question, until that time comes, we don't know exactly what the balancing mark is.
So then when you look at the cuts that you've had to institute here at Eastern, does that mean that there will be more cuts in the future, or is it just based on what happens in Springfield? How does that plan move forward as we head into the fall semester?
The cuts that we're making right now and the adjustments that we're making to our budget right now are predicated on the idea that the decrease in appropriations will be about the 6.5% decrease. That's what the legislature had passed, although the governor had not signed. Of course, the governor is looking, or has stated that he is looking for a much larger cut. If there is a much larger cut than the 6.5, then we'll again have to return and go back and see what adjustments will be necessary for EIU as we move to a sustainable budget in the future.
When you talk to EIU employees, what are your expectations during, I hate to say the word crisis because it makes it sound like it's horrible, but during this event, let's say,
Yeah.
What are the expectations for people like me and the other folks around Eastern?
Well, it's not a crisis, but there is an urgency.
Yep.
And that is we have to have a balance between our revenues that are coming in and our expenses that are going out. And when I talk to faculty, when I talk to staff across the university, they all have seen the impact of having fewer students coming on campus. They see that there are fewer lunches being served, there are fewer rooms that are moved into in housing, and we have to make those adjustments in order that we have the appropriate size of our institution relative to the number of students that we serve.
Okay. When you think, talk about fall as the students start coming in, are classes going to be affected by any of the adjustments you've made, or do you think that we're in pretty good shape? Because with classes just starting, in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape. There have been some adjustments made, and it is possible that some classes might be a little bit larger, but not on a great magnitude. And instead of having a class that might have 22 students in it, maybe that class would have 28 students in it. There have been a couple of classes or a few classes that have been canceled, and all of the students have been notified and helped to move into other classes that will help them matriculate towards their graduation.
Okay. I know that furlough days are something that is in the process of being worked on, myself included. Talk about the furlough day explanation. There's 2 different ways people can go in terms of their furlough days, and maybe the folks on Eastern, the campus, you can help them out explaining and make sure we know what's going on.
Yeah, not all employees at Eastern are affected by the furlough mandate that it came out or was announced last month. It is for only administration and other professional employee class personnel that have an income larger than $50,000. And then it's an incremental amount of more days of furlough based on the higher salary. Faculty, not faculty, but administrators and professional staff that are affected by the furloughs have their choice whether to take a certain number of prescribed furlough days. These would be days in which they would not work and there would be no salary accorded for those days. Or they could just take a reduction in their salary of an equivalent amount and therefore not have to be absent from their work and other activities that they are interested in doing.
And how does, I guess, the rule process of how you came up with those, is there legal rules that you had to work with, or how does that process go when you decide 7 furlough days, 10 furlough days, and the rules that go underneath it about not being able to report to work?
Well, some of the policies that are associated with furloughs can be found in state statutes. Other policies can be found in EIU policies themselves. At EIU, we have the ability to have furloughs up to 24 days in any given year. The maximum number of furlough days in this particular mandate is 16, and that's for myself alone, although I've chosen to have a reduction in my pay to equivalent amount. And then others, it's 14 days, 11 days, 9 days, and 7 days, depending upon the salary class that you're in. Those particular numbers came up as a consensus by the President's Council as we worked through a variety of different options that could be employed.
When you've been here for basically 2 months, almost today, I mean, tough decisions you've had to make in the first 2 months. I mean, I'm sure you were aware of that when you got here, but talk about the decision process as you go to work each day and how you all at the President's Council make these tough decisions. It's got to be tough, right?
Well, it certainly is. It certainly is challenging. There's no question about it, and the decisions that we make are very important decisions for the university, but also they impact individuals. And so we need to make all of these decisions with respect and compassion for all employees at EIU. And so we take these decisions very, very seriously. And we look through the array of options that are available to us in order to lower expenses or to increase revenues, as the case may be, in order to balance our budget. We have looked at numerous options, some which we have investigated further and have mandated, such as the furlough process, others that were options that we decided against doing. And so every day we're talking to a vast number of individuals and our constituents to see what they think are measures that could be helpful in adjusting the budget at EIU.
And the big deciding factor besides the state budget is enrollment, obviously. So what are you looking at what other schools are doing that are having success to maybe emulate ways that they're marketing or attracting students to come to their school?
Absolutely, and I think one of the reasons that I was selected as the 12th president of EIU is because of my background in a private institution in which everything is predicated on enrollments. And I bring to the plate a lot of experience in dealing with enrollment management and bringing in students and marketing and branding the institution, which is something that EIU is involved in right now and will continue to have to enhance as we move forward. It's a very, very competitive market out there, but there are a number of ways in which we can attract prospective students, and once we get them on campus and they see the friendliness, the friendly atmosphere that we have, the beautiful campus, the outstanding faculty, and the success of our students, I think that this is going to be their choice. We have to tell our story, and we have to tell it the best we can.
Yeah, those are some of the things you did while at Bradley?
Absolutely.
Is there, I hate to put you on the spot, but I guess I have to. Is there a specific example of something that you did at Bradley that worked, that you guys were so happy about, that maybe that you can work at Eastern? I don't know. I'm just, come to my mind there.
Well, I'm sharing lots of ideas with our admissions office, some of which may be practical, some of which may not. But as to the actual mechanics of them, we'll have to wait to see what we deliver on.
As the students start to arrive, and they'll start arriving, slowly now, and then as the weeks go up in that couple of weeks, what will you do as president? Will you be very visible out in the marketplace, talking to them? What are your plans?
Extremely. In fact, I've been waiting 2 months to get the students back on campus because I love when students are on campus and the vibrancy that comes along with it. I've dedicated my career to student success, and so as part of that, I need to be around students. I love to be around them. I'll be highly accessible, just as my predecessor, Dr. Perry was, and you will see me out and about interacting with the students and being a part of their events.
Have you thought about what kind of questions they're going to ask you with all this, Eastern being in the news and the state of Illinois being in the news?
Well, I anticipate that there'll be a lot of questions. In fact, the student newspaper has reached out to me several times since I've been here, and several times even before I got here. So they're certainly interested in what changes might take place. They're interested in their classes, and they want to ensure that they're going to have the best faculty. They want to ensure that they're going to have the opportunities of internships and experiential opportunities afforded to them. They're also interested in the social life, and will we continue to have a wonderful and vibrant nature of organizations of which they can join and to be a part of school spirit.
There's always good news about Eastern too. We've kind of had a little bit of the business part, but there's good things that are going on campus. Talk about some of the good things that you've learned in your first 2 months.
There are great things going on in this university, and I couldn't be more pleased and privileged to be here. When I have talked to the faculty, when I see the activities that are taking place across campus in every one of the colleges, the scholarship that's being conducted by the faculty, the alumni telling me about their successes and about the faculty that they enjoyed working with. It's incredible. And the more research that I do on the history of EIU, and the more I learn about our different academic departments and our academic programs, I'm just thrilled to see what's taking place here.
You're listening to Issues and Attitudes. I'm talking to Dr. David Glassman, the new Eastern Illinois University president. Appreciate him coming in today. Let's talk a little bit about your leadership style. Talk about who Dr. David Glassman is and how you are going to lead us as a president.
That's a great question, Jeff, and my leadership has always been predicated by respect and inclusiveness, openness and transparency. I like to make decisions based on information and being informed, and I enjoy meeting with and talking to all the different constituency groups and learning what do they see about Eastern, what do they want to see in the future, where can we improve ourselves. And I take all that information, discuss it with different constituents, discuss it with the President's Council, and make decisions that actually have positive outcomes to the campus. I'm not one that just listens and then does nothing. I'm a listener, but I want what I learn to translate into activity and into action. And that's one thing that I promise to provide to the community.
Do you feel that there's also a kind of a pushed up need to get that done quicker than possible because of the circumstances we're in?
I think that there might be a little bit of greater pressure to make those connections a little bit earlier, or a little bit quicker than in other times. But it's just my nature to do that. And so I'm not behaving any differently than I would anywhere else, but just glad to be at Eastern.
There you go. What about the city of Charleston? I know that you, unfortunately, we lost Mayor Reynolds, right, as you took over, and I know Brandon Combs was on last week, and he had talked about your relationship a little bit, but I said I would talk to you this week, and just talk about the relationship and how important it is for the city of Charleston and EIU to be partners.
I think I can best describe it just as the phrase, "We are one." There's no question about it. EIU is Charleston, and Charleston is EIU. And the more that we can collaborate and the more that we can create that sense of oneness, the better it will be both for EIU and for our students, as well as for our community as well. And I'm going to be working with the new mayor very, very closely. I have invited him to come to our freshman convocation, where he's going to introduce himself, talk about the friendliness of the city, to try and be more engaged. I will be attending city council meetings and sharing with the city council and other representatives across the community how EIU supports and will continue to support their activities, their economy, their lifestyles in a way that's going to be beneficial beyond what we've seen in the past.
Do you think out of tough times can lead to better cooperation in campus and off campus for the city as well as the students and the city?
Not only do tough times make for better partnerships between the city and the institution, but tough times create opportunities. When different organizations are under a tough situation, under complex environmental times, that's when people rally together, become innovative, become entrepreneurial, and from that derive many, many opportunities that they would not have derived otherwise, very beneficial for the organization. And I think that you're going to see that on our campus as well. As we go through the adjustments of our budget, at that time, all of us will start to think with a much more entrepreneurial spirit. What's our future? What does Eastern want to be? How are we going to sustain ourselves in academic excellence and provide students with an unbelievable education and success for their future? And I'm very excited about that, and I look forward to it, and that's going to be a campus-wide discussion as we all come together to look at the future of Eastern.
And I know when you were hired, student success, you mentioned that a lot of times, and I've heard you in some of the emails and things. The student success has kind of been your, I won't say motto, but a big thing that you say a lot. Does it concern you that students, not the student success is there, but are you a little concerned that the employees that are working with these students are probably a little uneasy these days, or when fall gets here? How do you balance that?
I'm not sure I exactly know what you're asking here, but relative to employers have really had positive responses to Eastern students. When I hear from employers, and I've been talking to a number of employers, particularly alumni who are now employing students, and they're employing Eastern students, they find that Eastern students come as prepared or more prepared than any of the other students that they've been hiring. We have one alumni in Arizona, a physician, an oncologist, radiologic oncologist, who has been doing internships with Eastern students, and together one of our students and he are writing a book right now.
Oh, really?
And another one is presenting a paper at a national conference. Our students stand up to any. And so if that's what you were looking for in the response, if you're looking for, are we producing enough students? We are certainly producing enough excellent students to field our economic development for the region, and we need to recruit more.
Exactly. We need to do a few more. When do you think that EIU employees as well as students will also almost create ways to help save money for Eastern? Is that one of your hopes as we move forward? As if somebody has an idea, hey, we could save money this way, or we could save money this way in the budget. Do you want people to bring you ideas, or is there a system to follow?
Absolutely looking for people to bring me ideas. I have a web address, just president at eiu.edu, for anybody to write with their suggestions as to cost-saving suggestions or revenue enhancement suggestions. Relative to your earlier question, as you started, you were talking about Are we looking for students to be used more in employment and so on, for more employment opportunities? And that's not the case. We are not trying to eliminate positions on our campus to be replaced by students. And I need to be very clear about that.
I understand. Is there a way that you think that Eastern can market itself differently in the future, or do you like kind of the path that we've been going on the last couple of years?
You can never market enough, and you can never brand yourself enough.
This is a radio and TV guy right there. I like that.
And we have a number of initiatives that are taking place right now, but it can't end there. We have to continue to reinvent ourselves in the marketing platform, to keep being top of the line. We're going to have a new website presence coming up. In fact, I think the front web page will be deployed on Wednesday of this week. I viewed it today. It is outstanding. It's a new look for Eastern, and I think it's really going to go over big with our prospective students as they get that first impression, that first bit of knowledge about Eastern Illinois University. So that's exciting. We have to continue to tell our story to a wider and wider audience and talk about the accomplishments of our students and the accomplishments of our faculty. One of the things about being in the Midwest is we have a very humble sensibility and a very strong work ethic. And we often don't share what are the great accomplishments that we do, because that would be bragging, okay? Well, I'm here to say that Eastern needs to brag, and Eastern has a great wealth of accomplishments in order to brag about. We have to get out there. We have to tell the state of Illinois. We have to tell the other states in our region. Eastern Illinois is an incredible, affordable, and accessible university that is predicated on student success and academic excellence. And if you go to Eastern, you'll not only be successful, you will have a tradition of community and family that will go with you for the rest of your life.
We definitely have to get that recorded and use it. That was a great line there. I like that. Springfield, how often are your plans to be up in Springfield and talking to the powers to be up there?
I've been to Springfield once already. I will continue to go to Springfield as often as I can in order to talk to our legislators and other legislators across the state, particularly advocating the important investment of higher education. We've come to a time in which there are so many demanding sources on the government for funding that I believe that higher education has lost some of its important standpoint within the ears and the eyes of our government. This is perhaps the best investment that any state can make, is through higher education. When you are placing students in a position to become the leaders, the entrepreneurs, the business sector, government sector, social service sector, these professionals are going to lead our state to its greatness in the future. We can't ignore it.
So another really good answer. I like that. When you think about the timeline for what's next in terms of where we're heading into the fall semester, are there timelines or time posts that we can look forward to, next set of announcements, or any issues that are coming up?
Sure. I have a plan in place in which we'll deal with both the discussions about our financial position and the adjustments that are associated with it, as well as plans of bringing the campus together to start revisioning our future and the opportunities that exist for us to flourish. And so these two things will be taking place during the fall, and as we move from the fall into the spring, all of our attention is going to be on our future and the great things that we will accomplish as we move forward.
Do you have short-term goals for the upcoming academic year that you've spoken with your folks in your department to get the word out?
Well, the short-term goals for me are to listen. I have to have a listening tour. I've been busy for 2 months now since I walked through that door, much of it understanding the budget and talking to our legislators and talking to our leaders across campus, whether it's the faculty senate or the various union leaderships or the staff senate. And now I have to listen to the departments, listen to the faculty, come and visit your unit, listen to you, tour our institution. There are still several buildings I have yet to be in, and that's exciting for me to see everything that's taking place on the campus. So I'll be going around for the next couple of months just listening and learning and just really loving what I'm doing.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you. As the president, can you get out and see the whole campus so you know what everybody's talking about when they say, WEIU or geology and all that stuff? So that's one of you're going to try to get that done in the fall semester?
I have to, and I have to do it not just by leading the university, but that's just my passion and my personality is to see what's going on across the campus and to meet with people and to see the great work that they're doing.
So after this, we'll just keep you for a few minutes and talk about WEIU.
I'll stay all day.
A couple minutes left. I always like to leave our guests with any information that they want to get out. You're the president of the university, so obviously the floor is yours. The people that are listening on campus, off campus, tell them about Eastern Illinois University, what you know after 2 months, and what your expectations are as we head into this 2015-2016 academic year.
I chose to come to Eastern because of its passion. The passion that I saw when I first came on campus is incredible, and I've been on a number of university campuses. People love Eastern. The employees love, the employees of Eastern love being here. The students love being here. The community is highly supportive. You couldn't ask for a better environment than what I found at Eastern Illinois University. And that makes me very proud. Proud right off the start. And I've been just moving on that pride in all of the actions and activities that have taken place since I arrived here. It's just a wonderful environment, beautiful. I look forward to coming to work every single day, and I wouldn't have it any other way. We have this financial adjustment that's taking place right now, and the one thing that I would like to convey is that this is truly a bump in the road. This isn't a chasm. This isn't something that is going to permanently affect Eastern Illinois. It's a bump. We're here. We're going to get through it, and I promise a very, very bright future. And that's what I think we have to look at, is the opportunities and the excitement that is all about Eastern as we move throughout the 21st century, providing educational excellence to our students.
Okay. I appreciate it very much, Dr. David Glassman, Eastern Illinois president, making his first appearance on WEIU Radio. We hope you'll come back.
Sure.
Like to have the president on a couple times a year and give updates, so we appreciate it very much. Welcome to Eastern, welcome to Charleston, and we look forward to working with you in the coming school year. This is HitMix 88.9 WEIU.